Hey friend, how are you today? Thought I would stop by and see if you had time to chit chat for a moment. It is probably around 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the afternoon, and it is Wednesday, and it is still humid in our little town. So if you hear background noises, that's Mr. Jerry, aka my hubby. He decided today that in our bedroom we have a closet, like most people probably do, and he decided he's going to clean it out because he has a whole bunch of clocks and parts and tools and stuff that he had built a shelf for that he's going through. And then, of course, we have in there containers that has genealogy stuff on his side, and then stuff that I have of my grandma's, and he found my wedding dress. I'm like, what in Sam Hills am I going to do with that wedding dress? So we just left that alone, but he's been working on that most of the day, and so our bed is covered with everything, and yeah. And I've just been out in the sunroom. I've been just knitting on that top. The pattern to that Seven Sisters top says that I need to do 15 inches from the bottom to the underarms, and when I measured that for me, I wanted a little bit longer. I wanted to cover over my hips to help camouflage a little of those rolls. So I'll have to do about 19 inches, something like that. So but as I'm going along, I'll just see how it goes. So yesterday, oh my goodness. Oh, first of all of our heat advisories and all that stuff is gone. It's still humid out. And now the sun's decided to come out as I'm going to talk to you. Because it has not been out at all this morning. And it's been windy, and we woke up to rain and everything. So I didn't have to water the garden this morning or yesterday because about supper time, all of a sudden it got dark and we had to turn lights on, and the wind was really blowing, and it just downpoured. I mean, it's like the heavens opened up and it just downpoured. And so, yeah. Everything got really watered well, and then the sun came out and it was still raining, and it was beautiful seeing the rain fall through the sunlight and stuff, and people had posted beautiful rainbow pictures, but I didn't see any rainbow pictures here. I think I just startled Jerry. He just walked by the doorway. But it was a much needed rain. So today, this morning, it's just been really cloudy out and windy on and off. If it's raining, very, very light. But so we did end up having that T-bone steak last night. He did grill that. He just brought it in, probably within 5 minutes of the downpour. So we had that T-bone steak with some corn and biscuits. I had some canned biscuits, so I baked those. So it was a pretty good supper. So I think tonight all we have left before we get some groceries, we have some pork chops. I think we'll do pork chops with a potato and a vegetable. And then we got 2 biscuits left from yesterday that we will have tonight too. So, yeah, I just have been like a non-moving person. It's just like this, you know, big humidity thing left, and now I'm kind of feeling it today, and it's still humid out, but it's not that high. Well, I shouldn't say that, because it was 70% yet. That's still pretty high, but the heat index isn't going to be anywhere near, you know, the hundreds. So I think it was 76 out, and it says it feels like 76. It's just really sticky. So, but we're supposed to be like that through, I think, Tuesday. So my plan today was just to knit or do that English paper piecing, and not do too much more. But back right here are my subscriptions to that Stitches of Love quilt along, and it is a monthly thing, so it has the embroidery design in it, and then you they give you the material that goes around the black and everything. That's how far I am from it. So 3 months. So I could work on that, but right now I just feel like I want to knit and to do that English paper piecing. So, but thanks everyone for just, you know, saying about the age and everything. I just think it's funny. I mean, I just feel like the older we get, the more we have of that, and then we just laugh about it. So, because I can get up and say, what day is it? And it's not that day. I don't know about you, but I can get up and think that today is Monday and it's really Wednesday. So, or someday might feel like, you know, it's a Saturday, and it sure isn't a Saturday. It's the middle of the week. But that's just how it goes, isn't it? So yesterday, I always make our bread now, and just depends on how much sandwiches Jerry eats during the week is how much is left over. And when it being so hot and everything, last week he didn't have too much in sandwiches, and I don't eat the bread that often. So there was a good portion of the butt end, probably about that much of it left when I made the new bread. And so I decided I was going to cut that up into 1-inch squares, and I was going to make croutons out of it. I've done that before, and we just snack on it. It's really good. Or put it in your salads or whatever you want, your croutons. But normally I do it in the oven. I have a recipe that tells you how long to do it in the oven and turn it over and all that stuff, and whatever seasonings you want. Well, my dehydrator, I can do the same thing. And since it was so hot yesterday, even though we had air, I decided to do it in the in the dehydrator. So that's what I did. I cut it all up, and then I think because I had like 2, maybe 3 cups of bread cubed up, and so I just I did like 3 tablespoons of melted butter and a tablespoon of olive oil and salt and pepper over it, and Parmesan cheese, however much I thought should go on it, and just mix that all in on the cubes. And then I put it on a tray in my dehydrator, and I for 3 hours dehydrated it. And I did it for 2 because it said 2 to 4. And when it shut off, I found a thicker piece because those tend to not, dehydrate as quickly as the smaller pieces. And it was still a little chewy from the bread inside, so I did it for another hour. And then Jerry had came in the house and it had stopped in that hour. And I said, can you find a big piece out there and see if it's done? And when he ate it, he said, yep, this one's done. He goes, oh, that's really good flavor. He just got beaten. And so I got out a wide mouth pint jar because I thought it all fit in there. You're going to hear the air conditioning, the furnace. And there was probably a half a cup left over. And I just put it in a little container. I said, here, you can snack on this. And he says, good. I just think it tastes so much better, but you definitely can do it in your oven because, like I said, I've done it before. I think it's like 20 minutes on a real low heat. Oh, I added rosemary seasoning to it also. And I've done Italian seasoning before with the Parmesan cheese. You can do the grated, you can do the store-bought, whatever you want. But I just find that the flavor of the butter with some good oil mixed in it, and just plain salt and pepper with a little bit of rosemary, and because your dried herbs are pretty powerful, so if you're using fresh, that's different. But you just taste one, see what you think. So I did do that, and but other than that, didn't do anything after supper. The rain brought out some pain in my arthritic spots, and so I was dealing with that. So but yeah, but then today, got up and just been like a lazy dog, I call it. But I feel like I need that every once in a while. So, but I went through all my clothes one time to downsize. I don't know about you, but I hang on to things, and especially clothes that are smaller, and I think, oh, I'm going to lose the weight to get into this, so I'm going to hang on to it. And I hang on to it and hang on to it and hang on to it, and there it sits in a suitcase in the closet. So when he brought out the summer stuff, I just picked stuff up, and I thought, if I haven't wore this, it's time for it to go for somebody else. I can always get another new whatever. So I was going through my drawers and, was making a big pile on the floor, and tops that were tank tops, but they're just a little snug even though I was wearing them, and I just remember being uncomfortable in them, and so they're all going to go to the Goodwill store. And then he pulled down another well, that was a pile of clothes that were up on top of in our closet. There was a shelf up there, and of course I have bought myself some shorts, and I bought last year 2 of them. They are just stretch pull-ons, like a jersey style, and to see how they would last and everything, and they did just fine. Well, when this heat wave was going to come, I thought, you know what, you should order 2 more, because 2 pairs of shorts isn't a lot to get through when it's really hot. So I ordered 2 more. I thought, okay, I'm set for the summer with my shorts, because I can rotate and do laundry once a week, and have enough to cover. So I'm sitting out in the sunroom, and he came out and he goes, well, there's this pile of clothes excuse me, of yours, and what do you think? So he was holding them up, and there was a top. I said, nope, that can go to Goodwill. and he opened up the one, and it was a pair of shorts, what I just ordered. I said, oh, there's the shorts. I said, no, I can keep those. There was 2 more. So I have now plenty. I have 7 pairs. And they only came in, well, the only 2 colors. There was 3 colors that came in, was a light gray, black, or a navy blue. And so y'all know I've got, you know, 4. So I got 2 navies and 2 light grays. Well, needless to say, I've got more now. So, but there was a long skirt, and I said, no, I don't need to have that anymore. I do like the skirt, but I don't care for the material. It's more of that, what I call like that rayon, stretchy, and I just don't like that anymore. And there was a top I still like, though. I said, ooh, I like that. So he put those back, and I said those can go into the laundry so I can wash them. But, you know, I told him, I says, I know I probably should go through more clothes and be more diligent of getting rid of stuff that I'm not wearing. And he goes, nah, he says, you're doing fine. He says, you already went through it one time. Give yourself, you know, time, you know. But it does feel good to do that, doesn't it? Every once in a while, it does feel good to go through things, to go through a closet or go through a drawer or something and just get rid of things, you know. I don't know why we hang on to stuff sometimes. I mean, I'm not saying get rid of everything, because I had 2 dads, one biological and one was a stepdad. Both are in heaven. My stepdad's been gone since 2005, and my biological dad's been gone since, well, I think it's 5 years now. 5 years. My biological dad came back in my life when I was just married, so 22, 23, and got to re-meet my grandma again. And those were turbulent times, because, you know, it wasn't a good marriage between my mom and my biological dad by any means. But people change. But it was like I was living 2 separate lives. I had this family here and I had this family here, and they couldn't intertwine. So, but I got to know my real dad again. So, and my half brothers. And so he was going through stuff in the closet, and my real dad wasn't, I don't want to say real either, because my stepdad was just as real to me as my biological, but Dad 1, I'll call him Dad 1. He would send me text on my birthday. He would send me text just wishing me a good day, telling me how much he loved me, and I was always called his daughter. Now, he had me and my 2 brothers, and then he had 2 other boys from another marriage, and so I was the only girl, and I was always his princess. So and his mom and my grandma always kept in touch and always set it up so that grandma could come see us, until Dad 2 stepped in and said no more of that, and he put a kibosh to that, which was really sad, because there are grandparents out there that love their grandkids and they didn't ask for this. So, but he was cleaning in the closet, and he came out to me, and there was a card, and I always save everything. I save cards like that, and it was a card from Dad one. Had his handwriting in it and the sweet message. And I just started crying. Of course, Jerry did too, because Jerry really liked him. And I kept that out. You know, just at the time of the life when you feel like, you know, I still have my mom, but my mom's never been the one that reaches out to her kids or anything like that. She expects her kids to reach out to her, even though she might miss us like crazy. She'll never be a part of our lives like that, or our kids' lives. She just expects everybody to come see her. So it was just really nice, because I just felt like it was my dad from heaven saying, I got you, girl. Well, actually, he'd say, I got you, daughter. So that was a nice surprise. But he wouldn't have found that if he wouldn't have went through all that stuff. And sometimes we just got to dig up the past to find the good in it, to remind us that we're still loved and we're still okay. And we need to go through things to purge, to say, okay, I don't need this stuff anymore. And I don't need to leave it for our kids, because there's going to be enough grief for the kids to have to deal with it. So the closet is really looking good. You know? And then I used to do diamond dots, and I think I have like 5 diamond dot ones. There are really nice ones. They're from Charles Wasaki, I think his name is. And I really like his work. And so I said to Jerry, he says, I'm sure that I can probably get rid of some of those. So he brought out the 5 boxes. And out of the 5 boxes, I says, well, I could part with 1. He goes, really? 1? He says, you'll keep it. So maybe this winter I'll have to do one of those, because I do miss doing the diamond dots. I have one on my wall here that depicts Christ's hands, and the girl is holding the crown. I think it's called You Say I Am, or I Am, something like that. And I really love it. I really love it. So, but I got all these different crafts that I'm doing, and sometimes you just don't feel like touching things, and you start something new, and everything else is just sitting there looking at you going, remember me? So, yeah. But I just thought I would hop on and say hey, and hopefully your day is good. And I don't have too much other that I'm going to do. I'm just going to either knit or do that English paper piecing. I think my yarn is supposed to be here tomorrow. And then I think my fabric for, thank you, Lainey, Kate's Magic Window Pane Quilt, I think that fabric's supposed to be here Saturday, even though it says it's in Indianapolis. Today's Wednesday. I bet it gets to Grand Rapids tomorrow. That would be Thursday, so I might get it Friday, but, and y'all know I'm going to show it to you when it comes in. But I'm just trying to work on that sweater until the shawl starts, and then I'll have to wind that all up, and I'll have to cast that on and get that going. So it's a never-ending process. And then July 1st, you know, I can't believe it's already going to be July. Was it next Tuesday? When is July 1st? Let's see if today, Oh, I can't. Y'all are telling me, but, and then that's, you know, then it's the 4th of July. We don't have plans. We talked about going away, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. And I don't think our kids will be down. You know. And I don't think they got plans either. Usually they're all gone on 4th of July weekend. But it just seems like the summer is blowing by. I mean, we couldn't wait for spring to get here, and now June has just blown right by, and July's a shorter month as it is. So, and, you know, my garden looks like a jungle out there from the plants really thriving through this heat, the ones that like it. I, you know, won't get any harvest on a lot of it until August or September. So it's just a hurry up and wait game for that. But such is life. It just blows by. I can remember being younger thinking, will this day ever end? Or being at work and thinking, this day is never going to end. And now it's like I get up, you know, at 8:30 in the morning, and before you know it, it feels like it's time for bed, and where is the day gone? So, oh goodness. But anyways, I think I'll let you go. Let me know if you want me to show you those boxes tomorrow, and maybe I'll do that, the embroidery ones. And of course I'll show you if my yarn comes in for that shawl from Up North Yarns. And yeah. Oh, and I like that idea from my friend down under who said that, and I think another person said it too, that, hey, it's time to, that it would be okay to buy a little something extra because you discovered you're a year younger. So, yeah. I've been looking at different things. I did order, I needed some more holders for that sweater when you put the live stitches on a holder. I did need something, and the gal who's running this, she showed something that I hadn't seen before that I thought, well, this is kind of neat, because I have what they call like a barber stretch things. And they're basically, if you remember from kids when they make the bead bracelets, that stretchy material, it's not thread, but you know what I mean, to put the beads on. That's basically what it is, but I ordered something different. This has a needle on the end. Looks like a knitting needle, and then it's either 9 inches or 12 inches. And then there is a little stopper thing with a hole in it, and you take the needle and you put all your stitches on it, and then you bring that stopper thing around it so they're encased, and you poke the needle right through it, and it holds it on there till you get to use them. I'm trying to think, I think I got 4 coming, because 4 of them were $10 through, I think, Clover, compared to $8 for one on another site. So, and they were exact same thing. So I did order that. And I did order some more, for my English paper piecing, the glue-based sticks. So that's about what I bought today. So, but you know, there are things that catch your eye, and then I have to stop and just put it in the cart and then think about it, and then sometimes it's the next day, and of course they send you a reminder you got something in your cart, and then you go look at it again and you go, yeah, I don't think so. You know? That's how I stop my whim shopping, you know. And but thanks again, my friends. Until we can meet again. It's been fun. See you soon.